There we go. Let it whip. Let it whip, let it whip, let it whip. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Forrest out in St. Louis. Hope you had an absolutely wonderful Friday. Yeah, see that, Bobby? Oh, went the wrong way. Yep, there you go. There you go. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir, I showed up. Yes, absolutely jazzed today. Had a wonderful freaking day. Had a really good day today. Very, very cool, very exciting, very, very neat, very neat. Totally jazzed. Had some just really stellar numbers today. What I'm going to talk about is the one thing that I did just today. The one thing that I did just today, yeah, do the damn work. That's what I did today. I sat down with purpose and intention and went to work, focused, had some fun, put a campaign together, started doing a bunch of follow-ups. Actually went all the way back to, I think it was February. So if you want to know how to make money from the past, this one thing is going to absolutely rock your world. I've got an absolutely cool bonus for you if you'd like. I'll tell you what it is right now. It's 7 mentalities, 7 things that wealthy, successful, wealthy people do to be successful. And if you'd like those, shoot me a private message or get those to you, because that ties right into what I'm talking about today. Is you've got to do the work. You've got to do the work. That's part of what we do when we show up. It's absolutely awesome. So you think about it. You can see the title here. You can see the headline. Multiply that by 365 and see what kind of income that generates to you. Now, I'm not making any income disclaimers. I'm just saying you've got to do the work, and that might be a little bit different every day. But what if that was an average, right? What if that was an average? So absolutely cool. So definitely excited today. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Forrest Knight. I'm a social media marketing strategist. I love to help people succeed online, on a mission to have no more empty refrigerators, to go out and make an extreme impact, to create and change some legacies, or create some legacies for people out in the world. So talking about the one thing that I did, and here's what's very important. We talked about the last couple of days. We talked about prospecting. We talked about follow-up. We talked about showing up. We talked about, of course, doing some type of spiritual growth, mental growth, self-development growth. All that's important, right? Because the last thing that's going to happen is when you run up against an obstacle where you have a 0 results day, right? You should never have a 0 production day. You should always be doing something. You should never have no zeros. You should never have a 0 at the end of the day. You're always reaching out to somebody. You're following up with somebody. You're having a sale. You're having a meeting. You're doing a presentation. You might not necessarily have to do the presentation, but somebody's watching a presentation that you sent them. You got a couple of no's, which is absolutely cool. The cool thing about getting a no, which a lot of people don't think about, is that you've done the process. You've done your job. You've asked somebody if they're open to take a look at what you're doing, right? You send them out the information. They watch the information and they reply back and say, no, it's not for me. Bam, you did your job. Move on next. And of course, you can always follow up and ask them if they want to be a customer. And if they say yes, great. If not, absolutely okay. But at least you ask, right? You always got to go through the second close. So very, very important. So today I sat down. I did a real cool deal. I created a digital business card. I put a cool little video on it. I put a link on it. I sent it out with a message. And I did this 117 times today. 117 follow-ups I did today. And as a result, what's really cool, at the end of the day, I got somebody that replied back and said, yep, I want to make a purchase. And as a result, I made $389. So now, it's not thousands, but let me ask you this. How many hours do you have to work in a week? As I said, a week. Most people don't make $400 in a week, right? So depending on what their base pay is. So I'm absolutely grateful and blessed to be able to have the database, the customers, the people, the processes, the skills to do that. So I'm absolutely blessed to do that. So the one skill, if I didn't spill the beans yet, is follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. But just back into that. How do you follow up with people that you haven't put on your list? How do you follow up with people that you don't have a Google Doc spreadsheet for, that you put on a list somewhere from February, from January, from March? So you're doing all this prospecting, right? You're doing all this prospecting, and people are replying back. Now, I have a system in place to where I work really good at getting phone numbers, and it's a skill that you just got to have. It's a learned skill. It's how you ask for the phone number. I'll go ahead and share it since you guys asked, like, Forrest, well, how do you get the phone number? You ask for it. You ask for it, and it goes just like this. So you reach out to somebody, you ask them if they're open, they say yes. So when they say yes, you say, great, I've got the short 18-minute presentation I'd like to share with you. It explains exactly how, who, what, and we do. Would you like me to email it to you, or would you like me to text it to you? Whatever you say last wins. Whatever you say last wins. And what will happen, especially if you're prospecting online, they'll say, well, can't you just share it here? I'd say I'd absolutely love to. However, the presentation I'm sending you is actually a mobile presentation, so I need to text it to you if that's okay. And I'll actually text it from my personal number, so you'll actually have it as well. So you have my number as well. So when you add that little flavor to it, and it's absolutely okay, and I'll let them off the hook with that. Don't have to worry. If you decide it's not for you, I'll take your phone number out of my number and I'll never contact you again. I'm not going to bug you if you say no. And so you let them off the hook, and they'll go ahead and give you their mobile number. So what I just do, I got a phone number from them. Now they may go through and watch the presentation. They may say, yeah, I'm going to watch it. But the cool thing about it is, we got to remember, is out in the world of prospecting and marketing, there's people who are going to say they're interested, but they're not ready to get started right now because of all stuff. Remember back in February, that was before the crap hit the fan, right? That was before all of the COVID-19. That was before the riots. That's before just everything went into like the end of the apocalypse. I wish we would have just had an asteroid and we could have just hired Bruce Willis and Morgan Freeman to go up in space and blow it up or something, right? That would have been a lot easier to deal with than all this kind of crazy stuff that's going on right now. So follow up. But the only way that you're going to be able to follow up with people is you've got to have a list. You've got to be able to put them somewhere on a list. And the only way to have a big list is you've got to reach out to a lot of people. So here's your challenge. If you haven't seen it yet, you can go to my YouTube channel, and I've got a 7-day prospecting blitz challenge over there. It's absolutely cool. You got to plug into it. You actually go to let me type it in here so y'all can see it. It's live.xtrm impact. Did I spell that right? Impact.com and chat. There, I just shared it. So you can actually go to that site right there. That'll actually take you to my YouTube channel. You can look for the 7-day prospecting blitz challenge. And it's a very cool challenge, because what it does, the primary premise of that challenge, is to pick out a number of people that you're going to prospect, right? So it's 50 people or 10 people or whatever your number is. It's your number. Pick out your number. So maybe right now you're prospecting 10 people. And here's how this works. So in the 7 days, you're going to prospect 10 people today. Then you're going to add 20%. And if you go to that prospecting blitz challenge, it's pretty cool. We walk through and we talk about some stuff. It's a little serious, but you can do that anytime that you want. You can always do your prospecting blitz challenge. And by the end, I started with 50, and I ended up, I think, on my final day with like 192 people I had to reach out to. But here, watch this. With that total number of people, it was like 619 or something. If you do the math with the 20% starting at 50 on the first day, I think it comes up to just 600 or 619 or something. I don't remember the exact number. But I have 600 and some people that I reached out to, basically starting at 50 and then adding 20% every day for 7 days. So I had about 600 people. Now here's what's really neat about that. That was back in June. On July 4th, I had people responding to the messages that I put in their inbox, saying they want more messages. So when we put those little messages of hope in people's inboxes, right, and we do that over and over again, somewhere down the road on a holiday, we've got one coming up at the end of the summer, so that's about 45 days from now. So if you really become aggressive and take some big numbers and put some big numbers of messages of hope in people's inboxes, asking them if they're open to your opportunity, when a holiday rolls around here in a couple of weeks, or in about 6 weeks from now, people are not going to be doing anything. Believe it or not, even though the COVID-19 is going on, there's still people that have jobs. There's still people that are working. There's still people working from home. So even when they're working from home, they're not playing on the internet, right? So just think about that. If they have a holiday, where they're going to be? They're going to be on social media. They're going to be in their inbox. They're going to be scrolling and see your message, and they're going to say, "Hey, yeah, I'm interested in what you got going on. Can you send that to me?" So when you think about that from that premise, it's a very, very cool opportunity. So make sure that when you're prospecting, you put them on your list. So the way you put them on a list, you create a Google Doc spreadsheet. Is what I like to do. You put the date that that they said, yeah, they want information. You put the link to their social media profile, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or wherever you met them. You put what kind of tool you sent them. You put the link or whatever the kind of tool set, and then you set a follow-up schedule for yourself to follow up with them so that you know where they're at. Now, if this is July, everybody that I send a presentation to in July is going to be on my July tab, right? So that in 6 months from now, I can simply slide back through my Google tabs and open up July, and there's everybody I prospected in July, and then there's everybody I prospected in August, and there's everybody I prospected in September. You can do it that way. You can have a running tab if you want to, but you can always just go back to people you prospected in July. So I want to go back 6 months. You go back to the whatever 6 months ago tab was, open it up and see everybody that actually that you reached out to. Now, I like to highlight stuff. So if they say no, I highlight them in red. If they say yes, I highlight them in yellow, because they said yes, that they wanted to see this. If they said maybe till later, I put them in an orange. And if they're green, of course, it means they signed up and they became a customer. That way I can keep track of who's who on each month and each tab. I know I went through that really fast, but that's just how I do it. You can color code your stuff how you want to. Totally up to you, but I like to leave everybody there. I can track my numbers, and guess what that does? I know how many people, so I can actually look at my total prospecting numbers that I prospected during that month. See how many people I reached out to. I can see how many people responded. I can see how many people said no. I can see how many people said yes. And each month, the cool thing about that gives me confidence in what I'm doing and the actions that I'm taking. So now I can go back to February and go through my February list and go message, 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 message. And I may even go through some people that I saw my message but didn't necessarily reply. And that's what a lot of those were today. I saw that they saw my message. So my message is, hey, I saw you. I saw, I sent this out. I saw that you saw my message in February, but you didn't have a chance to reply back. That's cool. I'm busy. You're probably busy just like me. I was curious if you might be able to take a look, way to earn a little bit extra money. And they may say yes or no. They may not reply at all. But the cool thing about that is it only takes one person to say yes. Out of that, if you could send out 100 messages a day, and you get one person that says yes, and you could make $300, and at the end of the year, you're looking at about $130,000 income because you sent out 100 messages a day and you got one person to say yes that became a customer. Those are from follow-ups, right? So just think about that. I'm not promising you anything. I'm not saying that's the ratio, but if you're not doing numbers, if you're not prospecting, if you're not following up, guess what your result's going to be? So it just goes to show you with the sign that's behind me, or the one that's scrolling across down here. That's it. So if you like the 7 mentalities that successful people use to be successful, shoot me a private message. I'll get those to you. I challenge you to have an absolutely awesome weekend. I'm looking forward to just a lot of July rolling out really good. I mean, it's funny. Today's the 17th. I think the last 2 weeks of July are going to be absolutely explosive for some people, because a lot of fruit's going to start to, a lot of those seeds that you sowed back in, April, May, and June are going to start to, people are going to say, wow, okay, I'm ready to go now. I'm ready to go now. I've got a little bit extra money. I'm ready to do this because this whole COVID-19 thing's coming down a little bit. So I think that's going to be a real exciting place to be. So if you like those 7 additional successful, the 7 mentalities of successful, wealthy people, shoot me a private message. I'll get that over to you. I love you. Jesus loves you. There's absolutely nothing to do about it. I'm on a mission to have no more empty refrigerators, to go out and make an extreme impact and create some legacies. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.